Okay, let's head high up into the Himalayas, because a quiet but absolutely massive energy revolution is taking place. As of September 2025, Nepal is making this huge bet on its most powerful resource, water, to completely reshape its future. It's an incredible story of ambition, but it's also a story that's facing some immense, almost paradoxical challenges.
So, if you want to get a handle on Nepal's entire energy story, you really only need to know one number: 95%. That's how much of the country's electricity comes from pure hydropower. It's a figure that makes it a true global outlier in the world of renewable energy.
And wow, this chart right here just shows you how completely water dominates their energy mix. I mean, this makes Nepal's grid one of the greenest on the entire planet. But as we're about to see, this total reliance is both a massive strength and, believe it or not, a source of some really unique vulnerability.
So how did this green power surge even happen? Well, it's really a story of sheer speed and scale, as Nepal began to harness its incredible mountain waterways with some serious momentum.
All right, so as of mid-2025, the country's installed capacity hit 3,870 megawatts. But honestly, that raw number doesn't even tell the whole story. It's the growth that's just staggering. In the last fiscal year alone, they added over 434 megawatts from new projects. That's a massive jump that really shows you just how fast Nepal is moving down this hydropower path.
And you know, this power isn't just for keeping the lights on at home, not at all. Nepal is quickly becoming a key energy exporter, flexing its muscles in the South Asian power market.
Okay, this was the real game changer. In June of 2025, Nepal made history, sending its first ever electricity exports to Bangladesh. This was a groundbreaking trilateral deal, with the power actually routed through India's grid. This was the moment Nepal formally arrived on the regional energy scene.
And you can see it right here in the numbers. In the last fiscal year, Nepal exported way more power than it imported, cementing its status as a net energy exporter. And look, this isn't just about selling electricity. It's a huge strategic move towards deeper regional cooperation and economic stability.
But, you know, behind this incredible success story, there lies a fundamental problem, a kind of hidden vulnerability that creates this feast or famine dynamic on the grid.
And here's where things get weird. It's a real paradox. Even with record exports, the national utilities' profits actually dropped by 37%. So how is that even possible? Well, it's because when they have a surplus, the power is cheap, but when they have a deficit, they're forced to buy super expensive power from abroad. And the answer to why this happens lies in the very nature of their hydropower system.
So, the vast majority of Nepal's power plants are what's called run-of-river. Now, what does that mean? Well, think of it this way. Instead of a giant dam that stores water in a reservoir, these plants use the river's natural current flow to generate power. This means they can't save water for later. They are completely dependent on how strong the river is at any given moment.
And what this creates is this wild seasonal swing. During the wet monsoon season, the rivers are absolutely roaring, creating a huge power surplus that Nepal exports. But in the dry season, those river flows just plummet, creating a power deficit that forces them to import electricity just to meet their own needs. You know, this analogy just nails it. Nepal has this enormous fuel tank, all that water, but no way to save that fuel for the dry winter months. This lack of storage is the core challenge its entire grid is built around.
So how do you fix a feast or famine grid, right? How can you guarantee power all year long? Well, Nepal's answer is to bet big on a whole new generation of massive projects, designed specifically to solve this storage problem once and for all.
And this is what that bet looks like in the real world. This pipeline of projects is just enormous. But look, the most important column here isn't the capacity, it's the type. Projects like Upper Arun and West Seti are storage plants. These are the direct answer to that dry season deficit. They're designed to function like giant water batteries, holding that energy back until it's needed most.
It sounds like a really sophisticated, forward-thinking plan. But there is one final, pretty sobering challenge we have to talk about. A deep paradox, where the solution is also, well, the victim.
We always talk about hydropower as this amazing green solution, right? It replaces fossil fuels, it helps fight climate change, but here's the catch. It is incredibly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change itself. The very infrastructure meant to save the planet is directly threatened by a warming planet. This is the critical, mind-bending paradox that Nepal is now facing head-on.
And look, these threats are not some far-off possibility. They are real, and they're getting worse. Extreme monsoon floods are getting stronger, damaging power plants and transmission lines. But a far more terrifying threat is emerging from high in the Himalayas, something called glacial lake outburst floods, or GLOFs. As glaciers melt, they form these unstable lakes that can just burst without warning, sending a literal wall of water, ice, and rock down the river valleys, capable of wiping out everything in its path.
So what you have to understand is that Nepal isn't just building green energy anymore. No, they're being forced to become pioneers in climate-resilient green energy. Their strategy moving forward, as you can see here, is this careful blend of offense and defense. Scaling up exports to fund the future, getting the money for those critical storage projects, adding solar to help during the dry season, and, this is the big one, retrofitting everything to withstand the coming climate threats.
You know, Nepal's journey really puts it on the front lines of one of the biggest challenges we all face in the 21st century. As they navigate this incredible path, balancing rapid growth with these existential risks, their story becomes a lesson for the whole world. And it really leaves us with a critical question to think about. What can we all learn from Nepal's struggle to build truly resilient green energy in the face of a rapidly changing climate?